Welcome back to the IC 109 podcast.
You're at 109 right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just finished reading chapter 2 of California's Black Pioneers. I learned some new things, and I'm going to do some Google searches to see if I can find some information about the people, the fascinating people about which I just read, about whom I just read. So let's get back in here. I didn't take notes per se, but as I was reading, I didn't take notes and I didn't mark up the book as I was reading. So, boo hoo, that's terrible. But there's one black man's name that stood out. It's Leidesdorff, William Alexander Leidesdorff. All right. So I read about him on page 22. It says here he was a native West Indian whose mother was black and father white. Okay. So we're going to do some Googling here. William Alexander Leidesdorff. Okay. The thing about the fact that he's mulatto that strikes me as like typical, it kind of speaks to the fact that like the times were just rough, were really bad for anyone who was Indian, Native American, and certainly if they were just black, and it's just like, well, he wasn't black, he was mulatto, so maybe that's why that's why we know of his history. William Alexander, William Alexander Leidesdorff. And there's a picture. Look at him. Look at all of this stuff. Now, okay. So I immediately I see one, two, three, four, five. I see five pictures. There are five pictures before me of a William Leidesdorff, and it says he was a businessman. They give his information, William Alexander Leidesdorff Jr., and it says he was an Afro-Caribbean settler in California and one of the founders of the city that became San Francisco. Oh, man. A black man founded the city of San Francisco, y'all. Wow. A highly successful, enterprising businessman, he is thought to have been the first black millionaire in the United States. Wow. Bro, that's okay, man. I never heard of this guy. Okay, so here's the thing about him, right? I see one, two, three, four, five, right? One, two, yeah. Yeah, there are five photos right in front of me. And there's only one photo that certainly looks like a black man to me. The rest of the images, they can certainly pass for a white man, you know? So I think that says something. Like, oftentimes when we see men, like historic figures, oftentimes they don't look black, they don't look negroid, they don't have negroid features. Is that one of the reasons why we don't assume, presume, suppose that blacks, were prominent in our nation's history? I think so. There's a statue. There's an image of the statue on Google, and the statue certainly does not look like a black man. So let's take a look here and see. It would not be wise to go to Wikipedia for information, but that is the description. I just read the description from Wikipedia, that part about him being Afro-Caribbean and the first millionaire in the United States and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Incredible story of William Leidesdorff. I usually go to Black Past. That's my go-to site for Black history. That's a wonderful website, and I just clicked on their link. They have a short blurb about Mr. William Alexander Leidesdorff, and I'm going to read that first because that's my go-to. It's called Black Past. Excellent website, blackpast.org. Beautiful website. Okay, it says here. Although little remembered today, Leidesdorff was a social, economic, and political force in pre gold rush San Francisco, California, with a number of firsts credited to his name. When he was named the U.S. Vice Consul to Mexico in 1845, he became the nation's first African American diplomat. He was elected to San Francisco's first city council and its first school board in 1847. He built the first hotel, the first shipping warehouse. He operated the first steamboat on San Francisco Bay, and he laid out the first horse racetrack in California. Born on the island of St. Croix in the Danish West Indies, now the U.S. Virgin Islands, in 1810, William was the son of Danish sugar planter Alexander Leidesdorff and Anna Marie Sparks, a light skinned woman of mixed race ancestry. In 1841, Leidesdorff sailed his 106-ton schooner Julia Ann around Cape Horn to California and settled in the Mexican village of Yerba Buena on San Francisco Bay. Over the next 3 years, he became a successful merchant by making frequent trips between California, Mexico, and Hawaii. In 1844, Governor Miquel Torrena confirmed his land grant of 35,000 acres on the American River, Ranch Rio de los Americanos was located near the spot where James Marshall discovered gold in January 1848. When Leidesdorff died unexpectedly in May 1848, he was given the honor of being buried inside Mission Dolores Church, where his gravestone may still be today. All right. As you work your way through these paragraphs, his life begins to be, or the description begins to be less impressive. It's that first paragraph that really is impressive. It just hits you every time they tell you. Every time they tell you he was the first, he was the first this, first that, first this, first that, did this first. Like, man, look at that. Look at his credits. It says first African American diplomat, first city council. He was elected to the first city council and the first school board elected to them. Built the first hotel, the first shipping warehouse, operated the first steamboat on San Francisco Bay, laid out the first horse race track in California. Now that part about the horse race track, that goes to show that he had a little gambler. He was a little gambling spirit in him, which is wild. Well, I mean, which is not wild, but it's really cool too. So that's the story of William Alexander Leidesdorff. Man, he founded the city of San Francisco, a black man. Wow. California with a number of firsts. Yeah. Became the nation's first black African American diplomat. And then the Wikipedia said the first black millionaire in the United States. But remember what I said. He wasn't black. No, he was a mulatto. So he had a little bit of the, what is it? So the white man and the white and his mother got together. I'm trying to make a joke like Trevor Noah. How Trevor Noah talked about his dad in a joke. He said that his dad, was from Switzerland. You know how the Swiss like chocolate? So Leidesdorff's father had a sweet tooth for some chocolate, some dark chocolate, you dig? All right, so I guess that's all I'm going to share on this podcast. William Alexander Leidesdorff podcast. What a fascinating story. It's Black History Month, y'all, and you're listening to IC 109 Podcast. Peace and blessings.
You're at 109 right now.
That's Kobe, and legends never die, so